What's up, sixth graders? All right, so we are going to go ahead and do things a little bit differently, and Miss Wilson and I are going to use videos to go over the individual lesson parts, so that way you guys can self-check your paperwork, kind of help you guys get moving faster without having to ask us, to double check everything for you. So we're going to start with physical geography of Western Europe. This was the very first thing you should have done for this packet in this unit. I'm assuming most of you have it done, but if not, we're going to go through it anyway. So just as always, things to remember. Essential question, just something to think about. These are your vocabulary terms, just important words you should probably know. All your physical geography ones start out with the map. If you have not already done so, there's three things that we want you guys to have on this map. The two mountains and then the one waterway that you needed to know from this. So your first one is going to be the Pyrenees. We're just going to put PYR here. And the other one is the Alps. The Alps are part of this whole region down here. And then the other thing you want to have is you want to have the English Channel circled. And that's going to go ahead and get you squared away there. All right, I'm going to turn the page over. Let's start actually answering the questions. So number one, you need to read the text. On the left, highlight the names of the nations that make up Western Europe. I'm going to highlight in pink because if you know me, that's my favorite color. So we got them all right here. Ireland, United Kingdom, which is also Britain, England, whichever one you want to go with. France, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Austria, and Switzerland. A lot of you guys are missing this one. It also includes the tiny countries of Monaco and Liechtenstein. Those are your ones to highlight there. All right, next one is number two. How have glaciers shaped the landscape of Western Europe? There's a lot of different answers you can have. A lot of kids are putting things down about the fertile soil, which is right here. The best answer that I would tell you is going to be basically from this sentence here. So much of Western Europe lies in the Northern European plain. Massive sheets of ice, which is what a glacier is, shaped the plain during the last ice age. So how did it shape the landscape? And these don't have to be complete sentences. Created, and I'm going to call the, northern, I'm just going to put an N for northern European plain. And that's perfectly fine there. All right, number three, we need to compare Western Europe's two mountain ranges. There are a lot of answers you can have for this one too. Comparing doesn't have to be just differences. It can be similarities. It can be a difference. It's whatever you want. I've seen all sorts of things. I've seen the part where, they divide the cooler climates in the north from the warm and dry to the south. You can use anything from the table here as far as their height, their locations, the length of the mountains. You can also use anything from here. They were created by folding rock from plate tectonics. They were also shaped by glaciers. They're younger than any of the other mountains in Europe. Any one of these things is fine, so I'm not going to actually write an answer on mine. I'm just going to go ahead and just tell you any of those things are fine. So something along those lines can go there perfectly fine. All right, last one on this side. Number four, we need our bodies of water. Okay, bodies of water is just liquid. Oceans, lakes, rivers, that kind of stuff. It's a coast, so we're talking salt water and things like that. Western Europe has long irregular coastlines on the Atlantic Ocean. That's one. The North, Baltic, and Mediterranean seas. So there should be four here. Atlantic Ocean. I'm just going to put an O for ocean. North, comma, Baltic, comma, and my little and symbol just to save space. Mediterranean. Seas. There you go, four bodies of water. Okay, moving on to question 5. We need to read the text and we need to underline the sentence that tells how Britain is connected to mainland Europe. Connected is the main part here, but we're going to go ahead and have you underline two sentences. The first one is going to be the one that tells you how they are actually separated. So the English Channel, and that's that body of water I had you guys circle, separates southern Britain from northern France. So that's how they're separated, meaning that's how they need to have something to connect them. The one that connects them, right here. High-speed trains run through the tunnel, a tunnel under the English Channel connecting Britain to mainland Europe. All right, number 6, how did the rivers of Western Europe affect its economic development? There's two main sentences that really help with this, right here. Rivers and canals providing transportation routes for goods and people, and then rivers provide water for farming and produce electrical power. Anything along those is fine. So transport is one, irrigation, which is providing water for farming, electricity, that's the hydroelectricity. All of these things are kind of ways that you can help economics. All right, moving on into our next really little section here, climate. It's this question 7 and 8. So number 7, we need to read the text, highlight the description of the Mediterranean climate. That's all going to be down here, and in reality, it's this entire paragraph. Every sentence in this paragraph, of which there are 4 sentences, all help describe what a Mediterranean climate is, what it feels like, things like that. It's actually fairly similar to what we have here in Seguin and Texas area. All right, number 8, how do the westerlies affect the climate in Europe? This one, we need to know how it affects it, not what it is. So we know what the westerlies are. They're strong winds that travel from west to east, and they're heated by warm water in the Atlantic current, all that fun stuff. What we need to know is how they affect it, and if it's a bunch of warm air coming in, they're going to go ahead and they're going to make it warmer in Europe. So how do they affect it? They bring in warm air currents. And that's basically going to be it. If you have warm air coming in, it makes your area warmer. That's why it's actually warmer in, you know, a place like Paris than it is in Montreal, Canada, which in terms of latitude, they're almost identical, except it's usually about 40 degrees colder in Montreal than it is in Paris. All right, flipping this over to finish up lesson 1. Okay, we need to highlight the energy sources that are important in Western Europe today. So there should be 3 of them. 2 of them always go together pretty much, oil and natural gas. And you've got hydroelectricity. Those are your 3 most important resources today. If we want, we can go ahead and we can flip it back over to this first little paragraph. We can also go ahead and underline coal. While it's not as important today, it is still important in the region overall. Lots of page flipping. All right, number 10, how do deciduous and coniferous trees differ from each other? When you have ones like this, I just like to go with the first letter and just make a little note. So deciduous, they lose their leaves. Coniferous, don't lose leaves. They don't really have leaves, they're mostly like pine trees. That's why they say foliage, but their stuff doesn't fall throughout the year. They're basically like evergreen trees, like Christmas trees. Okay, number 11, what effect did coal have on the Industrial Revolution? Well, coal, like I said, was back on the previous page. Okay, coal-fueled machines invented during the Industrial Revolution. So basically your coal was what kind of made things work. So like steam engines, basically any sort of manufacturing machines, stuff like that. So we're just gonna say coal-fueled machines. And that's enough. These question things aren't meant to have really long answers. They're meant for you to just kind of put down a real quick few-word correct answer and then move on. So your writing prompts, I'm not going to give any answers to them because I want you guys to come up with them. But just talk about them real quick. Why is the North Sea important to Western Europe? Look back over here on your one that has like the chart with the map. It tells you a little bit about the North Sea right in here and also right in here. Okay, your next one is to describe the agriculture of Western Europe. That's basically going to be pretty much like these 3 paragraphs. We'll have all that on there for you. All right, so you have all the answers for 1 through 11. So at this point, you should just need to do your 2 writing prompts or double check your writing prompts. And then you're going to be done with lesson 1. You can move on to lesson 2, the history of Western Europe. And I'll have a video for that soon. See you later.